Amongst 1,000 souls who walk the way, a rare one strives for perfect state to gain. Amongst 1,000 souls who walk the way, a rare one strives for perfect state to gain. And even of those striving day by day, who have achieved perfection's high domain, few truly know my essence free from stain. So vast the many lost in worldly plight, so few the chosen seeking truth again, so hard the climb toward the inner light, to reach the pinnacle, the goal supreme. A miracle it is, a truth profound, when by a striving soul I'm truly found.
A miracle it is, a truth profound, when by a striving soul I'm truly found. Welcome back to Bhagavad Gita Poetic Recital.
Hey, everyone.
Our focus for this session is Chapter 7. It's titled Knowledge of the Supreme, or in the original Sanskrit, Jnana Vijñāna Yoga, a real cornerstone of spiritual thought.
The Sanskrit uses Jñāna and Vijñāna, often translated as sort of theoretical knowledge and realized wisdom. Put them together and you get this complete understanding.
All right. I'm Satosha.
And I'm Satoshi. And this chapter, it really explores the nature of the divine, and how one might come to actually know it.
And we're approaching this in, using poetry as our lens.
That's right. We've got this fascinating set of sonnets here.
So think of it like accessing these, really profound philosophical ideas, but through this structured poetic form.
It's a different way in.
It really is.
Yeah. Now, the sonnet form itself, many people will know it from Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare, yes. That classic 14-line structure, specific rhymes. Shakespeare's famous for them, obviously.
Right. 3 quatrains and a couplet, often.
Exactly. Structured beauty of the sonnet form meeting this ancient Sanskrit wisdom. It's quite something.
But the original Sanskrit verses of the Gita are, they're much more concise.
Much shorter. So these sonnets, they're not direct translations.
They're expansions, really. They take the core meaning of each verse and explore it poetically within that 14-line frame.
Okay. Yeah, you're going beyond just a literal word-for-word thing.
Right. But that's not all, is it?
No, definitely not. Keep an eye out for any surprising parallels. We want to appreciate the poetry, the philosophy, and just see if there are any unexpected resonances, even from quantum mechanics, strangely enough.
Goal is to get a richer understanding, maybe find some of those aha moments, but, without getting completely lost in the weeds.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's begin with a sonnet inspired by the very first verse.
Recited in that traditional style. Let the language itself land first.
Good idea. Okay, everyone, let's listen closely.
Hear now, O Partha, with your mind intent, fixed wholly upon me in yogic grace.
Yogic grace.
As refuge you have sought, divinely lent, without a shadow's doubt in time and space. The truth complete of me you shall embrace. How this full knowledge blossoms I'll make known. With spirit joined to mine, removing chase of lesser things upon my mercy throne. No part shall be concealed, nor veil be drawn. My nature, whole and vast, shall you behold, from deepest night until the brightest dawn. Receive this wisdom, precious as fine gold, and know me as I am, completely free, your doubting banished by my reality.
And Partha is, again, Arjuna.
Right.
The core seems to be about focus, fixing the mind.
Exactly. Fixing the mind wholly upon me referring to the divine Krishna in the context of the Gita, and doing so through yoga. The promise is that if you do this, you'll attain complete knowledge. So what does practicing yoga mean in this specific context? Is it just about asanas, the postures, or formal meditation?
Or could it be broader? Like maybe it includes how we approach our daily duties, our work, our life.
That's a really interesting point, because those formal practices are tools, obviously, very useful tools. But maybe the essence here is that internal state, that deep mental connection.
Right, like the idea of karma yoga, performing your duty, but without attachment to the results, without those selfish desires driving you. And for anyone listening who wants to dive deeper into those actual yoga techniques,
we should definitely point you back to Chapter 6. We covered meditation techniques, mental discipline, detachment, all that foundational practice.
Yeah, it really lays the groundwork for understanding what's being built upon here in Chapter 7.
So Chapter 7 takes that foundation and adds, this layer of knowing, perhaps. So it's not just intellectual knowing.
Precisely. The yogic grace isn't just about doing the practice. It seems intrinsically linked to gaining this complete knowledge, this deep experiential understanding. It's not just doing things externally. It's about a fundamental shift inside. Your awareness changes. Hear now, O Partha, with your mind intent, fixed wholly upon me in yogic grace, as refuge you have sought, divinely lent. without a shadow's doubt, in time and space. The truth complete of me you shall embrace. How this full knowledge blossoms I'll make known, with spirit joined to mine, removing chase. Of lesser things, upon my mercy throne, no part shall be concealed, nor veil be drawn. My nature whole and vast shall you behold, from deepest night until the brightest dawn. Receive this wisdom, precious as fine gold, and know me as I am, completely free. Your doubting banished by my reality.
Yeah.
Truth complete of me you shall embrace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move to the second sonnet then, inspired by verse 7.2. Let's hear this one too. This knowledge I impart, both deep and high, combined with insight, perfect to your soul, a truth revealed beneath the open sky, which, once absorbed and made your spirit whole, leaves nothing else for your inquiring goal. No further seeking in this realm of man, no hidden truth beyond your wise control. Receive this gift, part of my divine plan. What need is there for futures to explore? What mystery lies veiled when I am known? And find your being on my presence shown. This perfect knowing ends all quest and strife, the ultimate attainment for this life.
What strikes me here is how total this knowledge is described. Perfect. It's not just intellectual, it reaches the soul.
Right. And that line leaves nothing else for your inquiring goal.
Once you grasped it, the seeking stops.
So for someone on that spiritual journey, looking for meaning, this is pointing towards, well, the end of the search, in a way.
Exactly. Like finding the source of the river, as you said before. You understand everything that flows from it then.
Yeah.
The sonnet nails this feeling, I think, with this knowledge I impart, both deep and high, combined with insight perfect to your soul, a truth revealed beneath the open sky, which, once absorbed and made your spirit whole, leaves nothing else for your inquiring goal. No further seeking in this realm of man, no hidden truth beyond your wise control. Receive this gift, part of my divine plan. What need is there for futures to explore? What mystery lies veiled when I am known? This perfect knowing ends all quest and strife, the ultimate attainment for this life. It's comprehensive.
That's quite a statement. Leaves nothing else for your inquiring goal.
It is, and the sonnet really captures that sense of finality.
A profound thought. Okay, on to the third sonnet from verse 7.3. Let's listen. Amongst 1,000 souls who walk the way, a rare one strives for perfect state to gain. And even of those striving day by day, who have achieved perfection's high domain, few truly know my essence, free from stain. So vast the many, lost in worldly plight. So few the chosen, seeking truth again. So hard the climb toward the inner light. To reach the pinnacle, the goal supreme, requires a will that falters not nor bends. To grasp my being more than fleeting dream is rare still where all true knowing ends. A miracle it is, a truth profound, when by a striving soul I'm truly found.
So this one introduces a bit of, well, reality check. It's saying this realization, this true knowing, isn't common. Amongst 1,000 souls, a rare one strives.
Right, and even among those who strive and maybe achieve some kind of perfection.
Even fewer actually know the divine essence. The original Sanskrit is very explicit about this distinction. Striving is one thing, truly knowing, in essence, is another.
The sonnet uses that phrase, the hard climb toward the inner light.
Amongst 1,000 souls who walk the way, a rare one strives for perfect state to gain. And even of those striving day by day, who have achieved perfection's high domain, few truly know my essence free from stain. So vast the many, lost in worldly plight. So few the chosen, seeking truth again. So hard the climb toward the inner light. To reach the pinnacle, the goal supreme, requires a will that falters not nor bends. To grasp my being more than fleeting dream is rarest still, where all true knowing ends. A miracle it is, a truth profound, when by a striving soul I'm truly found.
It makes you ponder why that might be. Is it the inherent difficulty, lack of effort, distractions?
Perhaps a combination of all those. It certainly underscores the value placed on that true essential knowing.
Shall we continue to 7.4?
Yes, please.
This verse starts to detail the different aspects of the divine's nature. First, the lower nature, or prakriti, the earth, the water, fire's consuming might, the moving air, the ether's boundless space, the thinking mind, the intellect's clear light, in ego sense, the self's perceived base. These eightfold elements, in varied place, comprise my lower nature subtly spun, a separated form for time and race, through which the world's material courses run. They form the physical, the mental frame, the ground of being in the mortal sphere. Distinct they seem, yet echo still my name, the outer garment that I hold so dear. This prakriti, my energy displayed, in 8 divisions by my power made. Okay, so prakriti, the
Hmm.
lower nature, and it's made up of 8 elements.
That's right. The sonnet lists them clearly. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Those are the sort of gross physical elements.
Right.
And then it adds the subtle ones: mind, intellect, and ego sense.
So it includes the mental faculties as part of this lower material nature.
Yes. These 8 together constitute the field of material existence, the outer garment, as the sonnet puts it. It's the manifestation of divine energy in the world we experience.
Interesting that mind and intellect are grouped here.
It is. It suggests they are instruments operating within this material framework, distinct from something higher.
The earth, the water, fire's consuming might, the moving air, the ether's boundless space, the thinking mind, the intellect's clear light. In ego sense, the self's perceived base. These 8-fold elements, in varied place, comprise my lower nature, subtly spun, a separated form for time and race, through which the world's material course is run. They form the physical, the mental frame, the ground of being in the mortal sphere. Distinct they seem, yet echo still my name, the outer garment that I hold so dear. This prakriti, my energy displayed, in 8 divisions by my power made.
Think of them as the building blocks of, well, everything we experience through our senses and mind, the stuff of the material world.
This feels like a really key step in understanding the Gita's view of reality. You've got the physical stuff, but also our thoughts, our sense of self, all part of this lower category.
It sets up the contrast for what comes next, which is the higher nature.
Okay, perfect segue to the 5th sonnet then, from verse 7.5. Beyond this lower form, O mighty arm, know my true nature, higher and supreme. It is the soul, the life that keeps from harm, the conscious force beyond material dream, by which this universe, a flowing stream, is held together, nurtured and sustained. It is the spirit's light, the vital gleam, within all life eternally unchained. This vital principle, my essence pure, enlivens matter, gives the cosmos breath. Without this soul, no form could long endure. It conquers change and triumphs over death. This higher prakriti, the living soul, contains the universe and makes it whole.
And there it is, the higher nature. The Sanskrit verse describes it as the jiva bhuta, the very life force that upholds the whole universe.
So completely different from the material elements we just heard about.
Totally. This isn't the stuff of the world, this is the life in the world. The consciousness. The sonnet calls it the soul, the life, the conscious force beyond material dream. Beyond this lower form, O mighty arm, no, my true nature, higher and supreme. It is the soul, the life that keeps from harm, the conscious force beyond material dream, by which this universe, a flowing stream, is held together, nurtured, and sustained. It is the spirit's light, the vital gleam, within all life, eternally unchained. This vital principle, my essence pure, enlivens matter, gives the cosmos breath. Without this soul, no form could long endure. It conquers change and triumphs over death. This higher prakriti, the living soul, contains the universe and makes it whole.
So beyond the 8 elements, there's this other aspect, a higher nature.
Yes, and it's identified here as the life force itself, the soul, presented as the fundamental consciousness, the very principle of life that animates the lower material nature. It's what sustains the universe.
Moving right along, from verse 7.6, let's listen. From these 2 natures, realize, O friend, all beings in existence take their source, my higher and my lower, without end, provide the fabric for creation's course, and know that I am all, with potent force, the origin of this vast cosmic play. The universe begins from me, of course, and at the final end I lead the way. From me arises all that ever was, Akhub, the myriad forms, the subtle and the gross. To me returns all that creation draws. I am the start, the finish, and the cross. The fount from which the river of life flows, an ocean where it ends, the cosmos knows.
So this verse and the sonnet kind of ties the previous 2 together. It says all beings come from both these natures.
The lower material one and the higher spiritual one.
Right. They're the twin sources of everything, but then it makes an even bigger statement.
Okay.
That the divine itself, Krishna, speaking here, is the ultimate origin and dissolution of everything, the whole cosmos. The Sanskrit says,
Aham kritsnasya jagata prabhava pralayas-tatha.
I am the source and the dissolution of the entire universe.
Wow. Okay, so the 2 natures are the immediate source, but the ultimate source is the divine.
Exactly. From these 2 natures, realize, O friend, all beings in existence take their source. My higher and my lower, without end, provide the fabric for creation's course, and know that I am all, with potent force, the origin of this vast cosmic play. The universe begins from me, of course, And at the final end, I lead the way. From me arises all that ever was. Myriad forms, the subtle and the gross. To me returns all that creation draws. I am the start, the finish, and the cross, the fount from which the river of life flows, an ocean where it ends, the cosmos knows.
So the divine is presented as the origin, the sustainer through the two natures,
Yeah.
and the eventual destination of everything.
Yes. The source and the dissolution, the beginning and the end, the fount and the ocean, as the sonnet beautifully puts it. It's a statement of ultimate causality and the all-encompassing reality of the divine.
It really ties together the concepts from the previous verses into a comprehensive picture.
It does. It establishes the framework for understanding the relationship between the world, the individual soul, and the ultimate divine source.
Right. And just to be clear, we're not just like reading poetry aloud. We want to actually unpack the core ideas in these sonnets, see what they might reveal about these ancient teachings for you, the listener.
Makes sense. Sonnet 7.
Yeah, let's dive in with Sonnet 7. This one's, there is no higher truth than me, Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya, of course, is one of the names for Arjuna, the warrior prince receiving the teaching. There is no higher truth than me, Dhananjaya. No principle transcends my sovereign might. Upon me all this universe does stay, as jewels are strung upon a thread so tight, each pearl distinct, reflecting dazzling light, yet bound as one upon the string unseen. So worlds and beings in their darkest night or brightest day upon my being lean. I am the thread, the unity that holds the scattered gems of life and cosmic chain. Within my being all the truth unfolds. Than me, no greater essence can remain. My presence binds the vastness and the small, the fundamental truth sustaining all.
Wow. What really strikes me there is how the sonnet picks up on that interconnectedness. You know, the jewels analogy.
Yeah, the pearls in the string.
Right. Each one looks distinct, separate, doesn't it? Like, people, events, things in the universe.
Uh-huh.
But they're all held together by that single hidden thread. It sort of suggests that maybe our feeling of being separate isn't the whole story.
That underneath it all, there's this unity.
A fundamental connection. There is no higher truth than me, Dhananjaya. No principle transcends my sovereign might. Upon me all this universe does stay. As jewels are strung upon a thread so tight, each world, each star, each creature, great or small, derives its being from my hidden grace. I am the silent bond that holds them all, within the vastness of unbounded space. Like pearls upon a single slender string, they gleam and shimmer with reflected light, yet owe their form and every vibrant thing to that unseen support both day and night. So understand, O Arjuna, evermore, that I am all and not exist before.
Seeing things that way change how you look at your own relationships or even bigger stuff happening in the world. Okay, let's look at Sonnet 8 then. This one's from verse 7.8.
Okay, verse 7.8. This one shifts focus a bit to the divine being present in everyday things. Immanence, basically.
Immanence, right.
This says, in water, O Kunteya, I am taste, the vital essence quenching every thirst. In moon and sun, my radiant light is placed, by which the darkness of the world is burst. In Vedic chants, the primal sound is burst, the sacred syllable that echoes far. In ether, sound's vibration is the first, and subtlest element, beyond compare. And in humanity, the strength of soul, the inner fire that strives and understands. In purity, the spirit finds its goal. Through righteous action, destiny commands. So know me present in each vital spark, from cosmic rays to whispers in the dark.
Kunteya, another name for Arjuna there.
Huh.
But notice the breadth of these examples.
It's quite something, from the most basic sensation, like taste.
Yeah, the very thing that makes water, well, watery and refreshing.
All the way to cosmic light and the essence of sound, even human strength.
In water, O Kunteya, I am taste, the vital essence quenching every thirst. In moon and sun, my radiant light is placed, by which the darkness of the world is burst. In Vedic chants, the primal sound is first, that sacred syllable from which forms flow. In ether, sound's vibration is the first manifest echo that all beings know. And in humanity, the strength of soul, the inherent power, I am present there. My essence permeates and makes life whole. In simple things, beyond all human care. Through fundamental elements I shine, revealing evermore my truth divine.
You see how it connects? It's suggesting the divine isn't like way out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's woven into just normal experience. It's a subtle shift, isn't it? But potentially quite profound.
It is.
All right, let's keep going. Sonnet 9, inspired by verse 7.9.
Right. And verse 7.9 keeps this theme going, doesn't it? Still about immanence, but focusing maybe more on the natural world, and interestingly, human discipline. Pure fragrance of the earth when rain descends, a subtle blessing to the grateful sense. The heat and fire whose energy transcends, a potent force both fierce and intense. the life in all that lives, a vibrant stream, from single cell to creatures of great might, and in ascetics, focused as a dream, the burning discipline, the austere light, of minds turned inward, seeking higher truth, through self-denial and unwavering will. In every element, from age to youth, my presence dwells, my purpose to fulfill. So see me in the beauty that surrounds, and in the striving where true strength is found. It's interesting how it links the outer world and the inner world.
Pure fragrance of the earth, when rain descends that earthy scent, know that it is my power. The heat and fire, the energy it lends, to burn and purify in every hour, the life in all that lives, the vital dower, the breath that quickens forms of every kind. And in ascetics, focus as a tower, the burning discipline, the austere mind. I am the essence, present and profound, in qualities that make the world reside, in earth's perfume, in heat and life around. In disciplined souls, I am their inner guide, my presence felt in nature's deepest core, and seeker's strength forevermore. So it asks you maybe what qualities resonate with you in nature or in, human effort. What feels profound?
Exactly. A good question to sit with.
Okay, moving right along, Sonnet 10.
This one introduces the idea of the divine as the eternal seed,
Mm-hmm.
the source, and also the source of intelligence, brilliance.
The origin point.
Pretty much. The verse goes, "Know me, O Partha, as the ancient seed, the timeless source from which all life takes root. Before all ages I have been decreed, the origin, the everlasting fruit. I am the intellect, the sharp pursuit of those whose minds are keen and wise and deep, the splendor and the glory absolute, of those whose brilliance makes the spirit leap, the strength of heroes, fearless in the fray, the virtue of the just, the poet's art. In every noble impulse of the day, a flicker of my being plays its part. So recognize the source from whence all springs, the silent power that existence brings."
And Partha is, again, Arjuna.
Right. The ancient seed image is very potent, isn't it? Everything arising from this single, timeless source.
It really grounds everything. Know me, O Partha, as the ancient seed, the timeless source from which all life takes root, the eternal origin of every deed, the cause unseen that brings forth every fruit. I am the intellect, the sharp pursuit of those whose minds are keen and wise and deep, the splendor and the glory undisputed of those whose brilliance makes the spirit leap. Within the seed of being I reside, the potential hidden, ready to unfurl. In wisdom's light I am the truth inside, in every spark of glory in the world. The fundamental cause, the wisdom's might, reflected in the splendid and the bright.
So if you connect this back to yourself, listener, it's saying that the very source of life and also the highest human abilities like wisdom, insight, that splendor,
They come from the same place.
that's the implication. That eternal seed suggests there's this fundamental potential within everyone. It kind of invites you to think about your own intellect, your moments of clarity or brilliance. Where do they actually come from?
Could they be tapping into something bigger, more universal?
Perhaps. That's the idea it puts forward.
It's definitely thought-provoking. Okay, Sonnet 11 now. This draws from verse 7.11.
This verse gets into the nature of strength and also desire, but specifically righteous desire.
The strength of mighty ones, from passion free, the power wielded without selfish aim, know that pure force as none other than me. The righteous impulse blazing like a flame, that just desire that speaks my holy name, not born of greed, attachment, or of hate, the wish for good in Dharma's righteous frame, that wills within all beings sealed by fate, that sanctioned longing, noble and aloud, which does not violate the sacred code, but lifts the soul above the common crowd, upon the path where virtue's fruits are sowed. This righteous will, untainted by the low, is I myself within all life that grow.
The key thing here, I think, is that distinction it makes between selfish desires driven by greed or attachment and those righteous impulses, desires that align with Dharma, which, we can broadly understand as duty, cosmic order, the right way of things.
That raises a really practical point for anyone listening, doesn't it? How do you tell the difference in your own life?
Exactly. How do you know if a desire is just serving you or if it's aligned with something, better, a greater good?
It requires some honest self-reflection, I guess, on your motivations.
It's definitely a crucial distinction, as you said.
Okay, let's look at Sonnet 12.
This brings in the gunas, the three fundamental qualities or modes of nature. Sattva, rajas, tamas. The verse states, whatever states of being there may be, whether of goodness, passion, or ignorance, know them to proceed from me alone. Still, I'm not in them, they are in me.
It's a bit paradoxical. Yeah, how does the sonnet handle that? And states of being, whether pure and clear, or moved by passion, restless and ablaze, or veiled in darkness, ignorance, and fear. Know these three qualities in all their ways arise from me through evolution's maze. From me they spring, yet I am not contained within their limits, bound by passing days. They rest in me, upon my being stained by their own nature, transient and low. I am the canvas, pure and ever free, on which the shifting hues of gunas flow. They find existence only through and in me. Though born of me, myself transcends their hold, a truth in this mysterious world untold.
I am the canvas. That's a great line. It captures that paradox beautifully, I think.
Yeah.
These three qualities shape everything we experience, our actions, our perceptions. They're the fabric of reality as we usually see it.
But the source isn't bound by them.
Exactly. They arise from the source, but the source transcends them. Like the painter in the paints analogy is sometimes here. The painter uses the colors, creates with them, but isn't made of the colors or limited by them.
So it points to something beyond that constant change and interplay of qualities.
A reality that's more fundamental, more stable, perhaps.
And states of being, whether pure and clear, sattva, or moved by passion, restless and ablaze, rajas, or veiled in darkness, ignorance, and fear, tamas. Know these three qualities held ever active arise from me. Though diverse their effect is, from me they spring, yet I am not contained. Within their limits, or by their practice, am I diminished or by glory gained? They are the modes through which the world is shown, the shifting patterns of the cosmic dance. I am the ground on which these seeds are sown, the silent witness of their fleeting trance. So understand the play of these three strands. Have you ever just, noticed how things often seem to line up in threes? It's kind of everywhere once you start looking.
Oh, absolutely. It's this pattern that pops up constantly. Time, past, present, future, basic dimensions. It makes you wonder, is it just how we think, or is it something deeper?
And the Gita essentially says the whole physical world arises from how these three gunas interact.
Exactly. Everything we experience is a mixture, a dynamic interplay of these three basic qualities or modes of nature. It's foundational Vedic thought.
And it's not just philosophy, is it? Three shows up in basic science, too.
Right. Think about matter. Solid, liquid, gas. Those are the three common states.
Or light red, green, blue, the primary colors that combine to make all the others we see.
And interestingly, that RGB analogy actually pops up again when we get to the physics part in SU3 symmetry.
Flavor symmetry. What exactly is that?
Right. So SU3 is a mathematical group, a type of symmetry. And flavor symmetry was this breakthrough way developed largely by Murray Gell-Mann and Yuval Neeman to organize the zoo of particles, hadrons specifically.
Hadrons being like protons and neutrons, things made of quarks.
Precisely. The system uses the three lightest quarks, the up, the down, and the strange quark as a kind of fundamental basis.
Three quarks again. So there's our trifecta at the quantum level.
These three quarks form a basis in a mathematical space, a three-dimensional vector space.
So you can sort of mix these quarks.
In a mathematical sense, yes. The SU3 symmetry involves transformations that mix these quark types while preserving certain properties. And when you work through the math of how these three quarks can combine, you get specific patterns, specific groupings of hadrons. And one of the most prominent groupings that emerged was the octet, a family of 8 related particles. The underlying threefold structure naturally leads to this 8-fold classification system. It was a huge success in predicting new particles, too.
Mind-bending stuff.
And it's interesting that Gell-Mann himself named it the 8-fold way, partly as a nod to the Buddhist Noble Eightfold Path. Now let's jump back to the Bhagavad Gita, but think about the bigger picture, the macro level.
Right.
Verse 7.4 talks about Krishna's lower nature, Prakriti, and it's described as having an 8-fold division.
Whole of material existence and the subtle aspects, too.
According to the Gita, yes, this 8-fold nature is the foundation of the physical and mental world we perceive.
So hang on. Earlier, we had the three guna, sattva, rajas, tamas as the fundamental forces.
Right.
And now we have this 8-fold prakriti as the manifestation. Is there a connection?
The idea is that the constant interplay and shifting balance of those three fundamental gunas, that's what gives rise to the 8-fold manifestation of Prakriti.
So again, 3 leading to 8. The 3 gunas generating the 8-fold nature of reality in the Gita's cosmology.
It's a striking parallel, isn't it? You have the 3 quark flavors in SU3 symmetry providing the basis for the 8-fold way octets in particle physics.
And the 3 gunas in Vedic thought providing the basis for the 8-fold prakriti. One at the micro level, one at the macro level.
It is quite remarkable. Now, we absolutely have to be careful here.
Of course. These are incredibly different systems of thought. One is ancient scripture and philosophy. The other is modern mathematical physics based on experiment.
Exactly. Different questions, different methods, different goals entirely. We're not saying one proves the other or that they're describing the same thing in different languages. That would be a huge leap.
Right. But the pattern is there. This 3 leading to 8 structure appearing independently in both. It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
In ancient Indian philosophy, you have 3 fundamental gunas giving rise to an 8-fold manifestation of nature.
Hmm.
And in modern particle physics, you have 3 fundamental quarks giving rise to particle groups of 8, called octets, in a system explicitly named the Eightfold Way after Buddhist philosophy. That's quite a coincidence, if it is one. It definitely qualifies as one of those aha moments our listener might be looking for.
A principle that operates on scales both vast and minuscule, weaving through philosophy and physics alike. Something more profound that we just don't fully grasp yet.
It's certainly something to ponder. And 7.13 follows directly from the gunas. It talks about how these qualities can actually, well, delude us.
How so?
If the divine is the source, why don't people see it?
Exactly. The Gita says the world is deluded by these 3 gunas, these qualities. They obscure the higher reality.
So we get caught up in the play of sattva, rajas, tamas, and miss the unchanging divine behind it all.
By these 3 qualities, the world is swayed, each creature bound by nature's subtle art. Their minds obscured, their inner vision swayed, the higher, changeless self plays little part. In their perceptions, misty is the heart, bewitched by forms in which they seem to dwell, the timeless essence kept so far apart. Misty the veil where Maya's arts compel, concealing me, immutable and vast. The world beholds the fleeting and the frail, and clings to shadows that are sure to pass. They seek for solace where true joys will fail, unknowing of the source from which all flows, the boundless ocean where true wisdom grows.
Misty the veil where Maya's arts compel. There's the concept of Maya, illusion.
Yes, the cosmic illusion. The power that makes the material world seem like the ultimate reality. The gunas are the strands of that illusion, constantly shifting, creating appearances that distract us from the stable, underlying truth.
It's easy to see how that happens, isn't it? We get so caught up in the surface level of things, the constant change.
By these 3 qualities, the gunas spell, this entire world, deluded, turns aside. Bewitched by forms in which they seem to dwell, the higher, changeless self they fail to find. Misty the veil where Maya's arts preside, concealing me, immutable and vast, beyond the shifting waves of passion's tide. In changing forms their blinded eyes are cast. They see the garment, miss the one within, perceive the qualities, not the ground of all. Lost in the play, the cosmic outer din, they miss my nature, standing high and tall. Delusion holds them fast in its embrace, unknowing me, beyond all time and place.
See the garment, miss the one within. That really sums it up, doesn't it?
It does.
The sonnet explains how being completely absorbed by the changing world, the appearances, the effects of the gunas, can hide that deeper, unchanging reality. It's like focusing so much on the waves you forget the ocean itself.
Yeah, or the trees instead of the forest.
Exactly. And this idea of Maya, the veil of illusion, it feels very relevant today, don't you think? With information overload, constant distractions.
Good feeling of being overwhelmed, yeah. Okay. Moving right along. This is inspired by Bhagavad Gita, verse 7.14. For this divine illusion, spun by gunas, this Maya woven by my own decree, is hard to conquer, fraught with countless runas, a formidable power, wild and free. But those who find their refuge, Lord, in me, who yield their hearts and minds unto my grace, they cross this Maya and its hold will flee. They step beyond illusion's fleeting trace. The path is steep, the challenge ever near, to break the chains that bind the mortal soul. But turning wholly, banishing all fear, and yielding all to me, shall make you whole. My refuge is the boat upon the sea, to cross this difficult reality.
A formidable power, wild and free. That line really lands, doesn't it? It captures that sense of Maya being vast, powerful.
And very difficult to get past. But the core message is right there in the sonnet, too. Surrender, seeking refuge. That's the key.
For this divine illusion, spun by gunas, a formidable power, wild and free, is hard indeed to cross, as all agree. What subtle net it is that overruns us. Sattva, rajas, tamas intertwine, crafting the veil through which few souls perceive the truth beyond the patterns they believe. They drift upon this ocean, vast, saline, but those who find their refuge, Lord, in me, who turn their hearts with faithful, steady grace, they step beyond illusion's fleeting trace. My refuge is the boat upon the sea, to cross this difficult reality and find release in my eternity. So the core message seems to be connection with the divine is the way out, or maybe the way through.
Precisely. The sonnet captures both the problem, the powerful illusion, and the solution offered in the verse. Surrender or refuge in the divine. It's the way to transcend.
Makes you think, where do we look for refuge when things feel unreal or confusing in our own lives?
A very relevant question. Okay, moving to the next one, verse 7.15. This sonnet has a pretty direct title.
Yeah, the wicked, lost in folly, souls most low. It seems to be about the opposite case, those who don't take refuge. Let's hear it.
The wicked, lost in folly, souls most low. The ones whose knowledge is by Maya stripped away, who cleave to demon nature dark below, and drift like blinded fools from day to day. These evildoers, caught in cycles vast, engaged in actions ignorant and grim, their understanding fading, future past, lost in the shadows on the cosmic rim, they do not come to me nor find the way, for base desires obscure the inner light. They choose the fleeting darkness over day, engracing chains of ignorance and night, thus bound by nature, deluded and unfree, lost to the light within my loving heart from me.
That's quite stark. Knowledge is by Maya stripped away, cleave to demon nature. So it's saying these individuals, because of their negativity or ignorance, can't find that divine connection.
That's the implication. Their own state, their attachment to what the sonnet calls base desires and a demon nature, essentially blinds them. It clouds their judgment, their understanding.
So it's less about being rejected and more about being unable to see. Their own choices create a barrier.
I think that's a really important distinction, yeah. The wicked, lost in folly, souls most low, whose knowledge is by Maya stripped away, who cleave to demon nature dark below. They do not come to me, nor find the way. Their minds obscured by blinding, false display, attached to actions driven by the base, they wander far from truth and go astray. No seeking finds them this lower place. Refuge in me is not their spirit's call. For worldly gain or power is their quest, their inner light consumed by Maya's pall. They choose the lower, failing every test. Such souls remain in darkness, far apart, lost to the light within my loving heart.
Wow. That line, lost to the light within my loving heart, it feels like a consequence of their own state, not necessarily a punishment.
Right. It emphasizes the obscuring power of ignorance and negative attachments.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Verse 7.16 brings us 4 types of virtuous souls, O Arjuna, find. This sounds more hopeful.
It does. It broadens the perspective to those who do turn towards the divine. Here's the sonnet.
4 types of virtuous souls, O Arjuna, find their way to me, with purpose clear and bright. The one distressed, with suffering in his mind, who seeks relief from sorrow's endless night. The seeker after knowledge, fresh and new, who yearns to understand the cosmic plan. The one who seeks for worldly wealth, it's true, desiring gain as mortals often can. And finally, the one who knows my state. The wise soul, steady, balanced, and serene. All these who worship, standing at my gate, reflecting virtue, noble and keen. Though different paths they tread, their aim aligned, a thread of virtue binds them to my feet, enshrined.
So a really interesting list here. You've got the distressed, the knowledge seeker, the wealth seeker, and the wise one, the knower. What's striking is the variety of reasons people might turn to the divine.
Yeah, the wealth seeker one is a bit surprising maybe, but the sonnet says they're all virtuous souls. A thread of virtue binds them. Does that mean just the act of seeking something higher, whatever the initial reason, is considered positive?
It really seems to suggest that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That orienting yourself towards the divine, even if it starts from a place of wanting something specific, like relief or even wealth, is itself a virtuous step. It's about the direction, perhaps.
Like the first step on a path.
4 types of virtuous souls, O Arjuna, find their way to me and offer worship true. The one distressed, with suffering in his mind. The seeker after knowledge, fresh and new. The one who seeks for worldly wealth, it's true. And finally, the one who knows my state. These 4 approach me in their different view, each drawn by purpose, driven by their fate. Though paths diverge and motives are distinct, a thread of virtue binds them to my feet. By earnest seeking, they become linked to that divine from which all life is sweet. 4 different reasons bring them to my grace, to find their solace in this holy place.
Different starting points, different motivations perhaps, but the sonnet emphasizes that shared thread of virtue. They're all reaching out.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, so verse 7.17 then zooms in on one of these types. Of these 4 kinds, the knower stands apart. Of these 4 kinds, the knower stands apart, ever united, focused on the one, with single devotion fixed within his heart, his journey towards the highest fully run. For I am dear exceedingly to him, this soul of wisdom steadfast and profound, and he is dear to me beyond the brim of worldly measure, on celestial ground, his love for me a constant burning fire, my love for him a boundless deep reply. He transcends fleeting, limited desire, reflecting me beneath the cosmic sky. No separation can our bond divide. The knower finds me ever at his side.
You see the emphasis there. Ever united, focused on the one, single devotion. It points to a constant, unwavering connection.
And the sonnet really stresses the mutual bond. I am dear to him, and he is dear to me.
Of these four kinds, the knower stands apart, ever united, focused on the one, with single devotion fixed within his heart, his journey's course determined and begun. He is supremely dear, my cherished son, for to the knower I am dear indeed, co-bond established till the race is run, fulfilling every spiritual need, while all are noble, striving for the light. The knower sees the truth, direct and plain. His vision piercing through the darkest night, he finds in me release from worldly pain. This union sweet, a mutual desire, between the knower and the cosmic fire.
Ever united, single devotion, supremely dear. The sonnet form seems well suited to conveying that kind of intimate spiritual bond.
I think so. It allows for that emotional depth.
Okay, next is verse 7.18, which takes this idea of the knower even further. It's quite a statement.
It really is. The divine essentially declares the knower to be one with the divine self. Let's hear it. Inspired by Bhagavad Gita, verse 7.18, all these are truly noble, each in kind, upon the path, deserving of acclaim. But of them all, the knower I define, as verily myself, expressing my name, for steadfast in his soul, without false aim, he rests in me, his spirit calm and sure. He has attained the goal, the sacred flame, the unsurpassed attainment, ever pure, established in my being, firm and fast. His consciousness united, free from doubt, his journey's end achieved, the die is cast. With inner peace his spirit radiates out. The knower and the known in essence merge upon my being where true souls converge.
As verily myself.
Yeah.
It's profound. The sonnet builds towards that idea of merging, of complete unity. All these are truly noble, each in kind, whose hearts incline towards my holy light, upon the path, deserving of acclaim, striving towards the good, the true, the right. But of them all, the knower I define, as verily myself, expressing my name. He dwells in me, eternally aligned, beyond the flux of fortune, praise, or blame. For fixed in me, his highest goal attained, no other refuge does his spirit seek. Through wisdom's lens, true liberty is gained, where ego fades and souls divinely speak. The knower and the known in essence merge upon my being, where true souls converge. Not just dear to the divine, but seen as the divine self. The end of the sonnet, the knower and the known, in essence, merge. That paints a picture of complete unity.
It really does. It's presented as the ultimate attainment, that state where the individual consciousness becomes one with the universal divine consciousness, the pinnacle.
Sounds like this takes time.
Definitely suggests a long journey. Here it is. Inspired by Bhagavad Gita, verse 7.19. After the passage of uncounted years, through many births, the soul finds wisdom's prize. The man of knowledge conquers all his fears and reaches me with opened, knowing eyes. His heart proclaims with wondrous, deep surprise, Vasudeva is all, the truth he sees. In every form the one reality lies. Such a great soul is rare, like fragrant trees. In barren lands, a wonder to behold. To see the Godhead manifest in all, the universe my form forever told. This realization answers spirit's call. This vast awareness, comprehensive, broad, a rare, great soul, united with the Lord.
The imagery of the long journey, uncounted years, many births, really comes through. After the passage of uncounted years, through many births the soul finds wisdom's prize, dispelling doubts and banishing all fears, with inner vision clearing in his eyes. The man of wisdom comes at last to me, recognizing the source from which all flows. His heart proclaims with wondrous, deep surprise, Vasudeva is all, the truth he sees and knows. Such Mahatma, great of soul and rare, is hard to find upon this earthly sphere, whose consciousness expands beyond compare, holding the allness infinitely dear. He sees my presence woven through all things, and rests serene beneath my sheltering wings.
Through many births. Seeing the divine in everything isn't usually a sudden flash. It's the culmination of a long, long process of spiritual growth.
And the sonnet calls such a person a Mahatma, a great soul, and says they're hard to find. It highlights how exceptional this level of understanding is.
Exactly.
Okay, verse 7.20.
So this describes people whose desires, diverse worldly longings, lead them to worship other deities or forces. They're driven by their own nature, their immediate needs, following specific rituals to get the specific outcomes.
And the sonnet suggests that while they might be finding some kind of fulfillment, it's limited, right?
By diverse worldly longings, minds astray, their clear discernment clouded by desire, these seekers turn to other gods to pray, fulfilling wishes fueled by passion's fire. They follow rituals, climbing ever higher upon the ladder of external rule. Compelled by nature, fixed in their attire, a slave to habit, and of Maya a tool. Their understanding bound by limited sight, they seek for boons from powers they conceive. Not knowing me, the source of perfect light, in forms external they their faith believe. Their innate nature drives their outward quest, upon the lower paths finding little rest.
Slave to habit, and of Maya a tool. That's a pretty direct line. It really drives home how desires, according to this verse, can lead people away from a deeper understanding.
Yes, it contrasts sharply with the direct knowledge and refuge described earlier.
By diverse worldly longings, minds astray, their clear discernment clouded by desire, men turn to other gods to humbly pray, fulfilling wishes, fueled by passion's fire. Compelled by natures forged in times before, they follow rules, observe the varied rite, seeking protection, solace, something more. According to their faith, their inner light, each finds a path according to his need, bound by the limits of his current state, planting the karmic cycle's potent seed, governed by custom, circumstance, and fate. Thus, seeking lesser goals, they go their way, on lower paths, finding little rest day by day.
Their focus remains on fulfilling specific, often temporary worldly desires through various practices. While not necessarily condemned, it's presented as a different track, one that doesn't lead to the same deep, unifying understanding as the path of the knower, who seeks the one beyond specific forms or favors.
Yes.
Let's dive right in with the sonnet for verse 7.21. This one touches on how faith is really personal.
The idea that whatever form of divinity someone chooses to worship with genuine faith, the Supreme actually strengthens that specific faith.
Yeah, it's about acceptance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's the sonnet.
Whatever form a devotee may choose, to worship with his faith and heart sincere, that cherished form I will not refuse, but make his faith in that form strong and clear. Though countless paths may wind and interlace, each seeking solace in a chosen name, the earnest heart finds its appointed place, and in that devotion feels a warming flame. The mountain's peak can by all routes be sought, and every river flows unto the sea, so every form in which the divine is thought brings the devoted spirit unto me. Thus let each soul its sacred path embrace, for in that faith they find my boundless grace.
For in that faith, they find my boundless grace. I mean, that really lands, doesn't it? It highlights how intimate devotion can be. It's not about the what, but the how, the sincerity.
Mm-hmm. Whatever form a devotee may choose, to worship with his faith and heart sincere, that cherished form I will not refuse, but make his faith in that form strong and clear. I steady his devotion, quell all fear, and consecrate the object of his plea. Though limited the vision may appear, I recognize the soul's desire for me. The sincerity of purpose I affirm, regardless of the symbol that they hold. Their faith's foundation, solid and quite firm, upon that chosen form will then unfold. My grace extends to meet them where they are, and lights their path, however distant, far.
What's really striking there is how the sonnet expands on that core idea of acceptance.
Yeah, divine acceptance.
Well, whatever form, whatever deity someone chooses, if the faith is sincere, the divine actually strengthens that faith.
It doesn't say no, wrong form.
Precisely. It suggests this deep respect for individual paths. It feels incredibly inclusive, doesn't it? The divine connecting with sincerity wherever it's found.
And it's quite profound, especially today. This message of inclusivity, respecting different paths, it feels very relevant.
It really does. Okay, so then verse 7.22 in its sonnet. This seems to build on the last one. It suggests that when people get what they desire through their worship,
Right, the fulfillment, the boons they see.
yeah, those ultimately come from the divine source, even if the person credits the specific form they prayed to.
It's subtle. It's about the underlying power behind the practice. Let's hear how the sonnet puts it.
Okay?
He seeks the boons desired, wishing to be, granted the objects of his worldly care, and he obtains the fruits, though unaware that they are granted ultimately by me. The rains descend to nourish field and tree, though farmers pray to spirits of the ground. The sun's bright rays make life abundantly flourish, though different deities are crowned. So every blessing, every answered plea, no matter to which power it seems addressed, flows from the source of all eternally, a universal current, manifest. The forms are many and the names diverse, but the true giver of all good I immerse.
The true giver of all good I immerse. That's quite a statement. It points to this universal wellspring of blessings, regardless of the name or form we use.
Endowed with such firm faith, the devotee approaches that chosen form in humble prayer. He seeks the boons desired, wishing to be, granted the objects of his worldly care, and he obtains the fruits, though unaware, that they are granted ultimately by me. The power behind the form, though hidden there, is my own will, allowing destiny. He sees the image, hears the name he calls, receives the blessing, feels his wish fulfilled. But know the power that breaks down the walls. The cosmic energy by my hand is willed. The gifts received, the boons that souls acquire, are manifest results of my desire.
You see, it carries that thread forward. The devotee gets what they desire through that specific form.
But ultimately,
Ultimately, the source of that fulfillment is the one divine reality, even if the person doesn't realize it at the time.
So the power source is unified, even if let's say, the outlets look different.
That's a good way to put it. Like different streams, as you said before, maybe, all fed by the same ultimate source.
Yeah. Okay, now verse 7.23 introduces a bit of a distinction, I think. Let's hear the sonnet for that one.
Right. This talks about the nature of the results people get.
But finite are the fruits these seekers gain, whose understanding's limited and small. Their transient worship leads to transient rain and temporal boons, predestined soon to fall. To lesser gods, the god-worshippers call, and reach the realms where those divinities dwell. My own devoted ones, surmounting all, come unto me where endless glories swell. The path of gods leads to their heavenly sphere, a temporary stay, then back to earth. But those who worship me dispel all fear and reach my timeless state of endless worth. The limited attain the limited height, my devotees arrive in boundless light.
Quite contrast there.
Definitely. Temporary results versus eternal attainment.
Exactly. Worshipping specific forms or deities for specific, often worldly, gains yields. Well, temporary results. Finite boons.
And those devoted to the supreme, the ultimate source.
They attain something lasting.
Finite are the fruits these seekers gain, whose worship binds them to a lesser sphere. Their transient worship leads to transient rain, and temporal boons predestined soon to fall. Like shadows cast by objects in the sun, these fleeting joys and powers soon decay. The endless cycle, never truly done, leads back to earth where shadows hold their sway. But those who fix their hearts and minds on me transcend the limits of this mortal coil. They rise above such brief authority and find release from all this earthly toil. The path to lasting joy is clear and bright, beyond the fading gleam of borrowed light.
Beyond the fading gleam of borrowed light. Wow, that imagery really makes the point, doesn't it? Transient rewards versus something truly lasting, something transcendent.
Right. Okay, next up, the sonnet for verse 7.24. This one seems to address a misunderstanding.
Yes, about the nature of the divine itself. Let's hear it.
Unwise men, with intellect obscured, believe me manifest, though formless, high. They think my perfect state, forever immured, took finite shape beneath the mortal sky, not knowing my supreme reality, immutable beyond all change and form. They see the human figure passing by, and fail to grasp the universal storm of my true nature, deathless and unbound. They limit me to senses' brief display, upon the shifting, transient, worldly ground. My highest being they cannot survey. Their ignorance conceals the truth I hold, immutable in glory to unfold.
The sonnet really captures that sense of limited perception.
Thinking the unmanifest, the formless, is just a limited physical form they can see.
Right. Mistaking the appearance for the ultimate reality. Failing to grasp the boundless, immutable nature behind any manifestation.
Unwise men with intellect obscured, believe me manifest, though formless, high. They think my perfect state, forever immured, took finite shape beneath the mortal sky. They see a ripple and mistake it for the ocean's vastness, boundless and profound. They see a spark and think they know the core of the great fire that circles all around. My true essence, beyond all change and form, immutable, eternal and complete, escapes the grasp of minds that cannot warm themselves to truths divinely indiscreet. Veiled by illusion, they cannot perceive the uncreated source in which all believe.
Now, verse 7.25 introduces this concept of veiling. Let's hear that sonnet.
Okay, verse 7.25. Not manifest to all am I revealed, for I am screened by Yoga Maya's might. By my own power I remain concealed from worldly eyes that seek but outer sight. This deluded world, in darkness and in light, does not perceive me, birthless and unspent. They see the changing form, mistake the blight. For timeless truth on transient things intent, my mystic power veils my inner core. From those whose vision is not pure and clear, they see the surface, nothing less, nothing more, and miss the ancient being dwelling near, unborn, unchanging, yet I stand unknown. By Maya's veil, my deepest truth is shown.
Yoga Maya. That's the key concept here, isn't it? The divine power of illusion, or maybe creative power.
It sounds like a veil that obscures the ultimate reality.
Yes. From those who are caught up in the surface appearances, the outer sight, as the sonnet says. It suggests the truth is there, but hidden by this power.
perhaps hidden until one is ready to see beyond it.
That's often the interpretation. It's not necessarily a malicious hiding, but part of the cosmic play, allowing for gradual understanding.
Yogamaya. It's a crucial concept. It explains why the divine isn't just obvious to everyone. The sonnet captures the sense of concealment quite powerfully.
Okay.
Not manifest to all am I revealed, for I am screened by Yogamaya's might. By my own power I remain concealed, from worldly eyes that seek but outer sight. Like actors veiled behind a painted scene, I play my part, unseen by those who gaze. Upon the drama, never in between, the fleeting acts that fill their earthly days. This mystic curtain woven thread by thread, with illusion's art obscures my form. The inner vision only can be led, to pierce the veil and weather Maya's storm. So not to all does this true knowledge come, until the heart is pure, the seeking numb.
Like actors veiled behind a painted scene. That's vivid. It suggests reality as we see it might be just the surface layer hiding something deeper.
Precisely. Yogamaya isn't necessarily about trickery, but it's the way the infinite interacts with our finite perception. It both hides and potentially reveals.
Okay?
Okay, moving to the sonnet for verse 7.26, which seems to shift to divine knowledge.
Yes, the scope of the Supreme's awareness. Let's listen.
I know all beings that have passed away, O Arjuna, their history I trace. I know the present beings of today, their current state, their time, their form, their place. I know the future and the coming race, all that shall be before it takes its birth. Within my knowledge, all finds its embrace, across the cycles of the rolling earth. But no one knows me in my full extent, my boundless nature, infinite and deep, while all created things by me are lent. Existence, secrets that the ages keep, my own vast being, ever unconfined, is not encompassed by a finite mind.
Wow, the contrast is stark, isn't it?
Complete knowledge of past, present, future.
Everything. Every being, every cycle.
I know all beings that have passed away, O Arjuna, their history I trace. I know the present beings of today, each fleeting moment held within my space. I know the future and the coming race, the unfolding drama, every act and scene, but no one knows me in my full extent. This boundless knowledge remains ever keen, like one who sees the forest tree by tree, yet cannot grasp the whole majestic wood, so finite minds can never fully see. The infinite wisdom, perfectly understood, my knowledge vast beyond all earthly ken, embraces all, yet is unknown to men. That boundless nature is beyond finite comprehension.
Exactly. It's humbling. It puts our limited human perspective in, well, perspective. We grasp fragments, but the whole, it's beyond us.
A truly vast concept. All right, verse 7.27. This sonnet talks about delusion again, specifically from dualities.
Yes, this brings it back to the human experience of being caught in opposites. Let's hear this one.
From rise of dualities, desire and hate, that spring from contact, born of fleeting sense, all creatures fall into a deluded state, from birth's beginning, subject to expense, of clearer vision, held in tight suspense. This powerful confusion far it binds, the soul to fleeting joys and sharp offense. It clouds the judgment, captivates the minds. Desire lures forth, and hate repels with might, creating pairs of opposites that blind. Lost in the swirl, they miss the inner light, to dual forces helplessly consigned. This deep delusion, rooted from their start, obscures the truth within each creature's heart.
Desire and hate.
Ooh.
Like and dislike. Pleasure and pain.
The fundamental push-pull.
Exactly.
It's so relatable, that feeling of being pulled in different directions by our attractions and aversions.
Very much so.
From rise of dualities, desire and hate, that spring from contact, born of fleeting sense, all creatures fall into a deluded state, and wander lost in this immense suspense, like magnets pulling in opposing ways. These contrary forces grip the human heart, obscuring truth in life's bewildering maze, and tearing understanding far apart. Attached to pleasure, fearing pain's sharp sting, we chase illusions, driven to extremes. This powerful confusion far it brings, the soul to fleeting joys and troubled dreams. Bound by these opposites, we fail to see the underlying unity that sets us free.
Like magnets pulling in opposing ways. That's a really effective image for that constant push-pull of craving and aversion. You can see how it would distort our view.
Absolutely. These dualities act like a filter, coloring our experience and preventing us from seeing the unity underneath, keeping us bound in that cycle.
It speaks to a core human struggle. This is something anyone can probably recognize in their own experience.
Absolutely. So if that's the delusion, does the next verse offer a way out? Let's hear the sonnet for 7.28.
It does. It talks about those who overcome this. Let's listen.
But those whose sin has come unto its end, through virtuous action, pure and free from stain, from the delusion of the duals ascend, Released from pairs of pleasure and of pain, they worship me with purpose strong and plain. With vows established firm and resolute, their steady minds the path of truth maintain, and gather Dhamma's pure and sacred fruit. No longer tossed by waves of like and hate, their vision clears, their inner compass true. They see my presence, sealing their own fate. In selfless service, ever fresh and new. Released from bondage, steadfast they remain. Devoted fully, conquering worldly shame.
So freedom comes through. What does it say? Virtuous action.
Yeah, virtuous action, pure and free from stain, and steadfast worship. But those whose sin has come unto its end, through virtuous action, pure and free from stain, from the delusion of the duals ascend, and find release from suffering and pain. With steady minds and purpose clear and strong, they dedicate their lives in every deed. To me, and in that love, they right the wrong, and plant the seeds of liberation's creed. Freed from the grip of liking and dislike, they see the world with wisdom's gentle eye. Their inner vision, like a dawning height, reveals the truth that others pass them by. They worship me with purpose strong and plain, and in that devotion, lasting peace they gain.
With steady minds and purpose clear and strong. It really emphasizes that conscious effort, that dedication is needed to break free from those ingrained patterns.
It really does. It shows the power of right conduct and focused devotion to purify the mind, leading to clear perception, to peace.
Okay, moving towards the end here. Verse 7.29 talks about those actively striving for liberation, for release from birth and death by taking refuge in the divine.
And this leads them to a profound understanding knowledge of Brahman, the ultimate reality, Adhyatma, the self, and the workings of karma.
That sounds incredibly comprehensive. How does this sonnet convey this quest and the knowledge gained?
Who strive for freedom from decay and death, and make my refuge their sustaining breath, with firm resolve surrendering all beneath, the shelter of my love defying wrath, and greed and pride these souls the seed of truth is sown. They know that Brahman whole, the absolute, the inner self, Adhyatma, to them is known, and all of karma's work, its cause and fruit. The cycle of existence loses hold. As wisdom dawns and ignorance takes flight, the mysteries of life begin to unfold, bathed in the radiance of divine light. Thus, those who seek true freedom find their way, by knowing me, where endless glories play.
Knowing Brahman, the self, and karma. It feels like understanding the entire operating system of existence,
Who strive for freedom from decay and death, that mortal cycle binding flesh and bone, and make my refuge their sustaining breath. Their highest goal on me alone is shown. These knowing souls, the seed of truth is sown. They know that Brahman whole, the absolute, the inner self, Adhyatma, to them is known, and all of karma's work, its cause and fruit, the path to liberation they pursue, beyond the limits of the mortal span. By taking refuge, clear their inner view, they grasp the essence of the cosmic plan. The highest knowledge thus becomes their right, revealing all in liberated light.
This is profound. And finally, this seems to bring it all together, understanding the divine in all realms, earthly and celestial, and even in sacrifice, especially for those with focused minds, right up to the moment of death.
Yes, it's about maintaining that awareness of the divine's presence in every aspect of reality, constantly. The sonnet really emphasizes this unified consciousness.
Let's hear this concluding sonnet.
Who know me in the earthly sphere's domain, and in the celestial realm they clearly see, and know me in the sacrifice's main, where offerings rise in devotion to me. These souls, with minds composed, eternally, in perfect focus, never do they stray. At the great hour of death, they steadfastly remember me and find the destined way. For what one thinks of in that final breath determines where the departing spirit goes. Those who have known me truly, conquering death, attain the realm where endless wisdom flows. So let your mind on me forever dwell, and even at death you shall remember well.
So let your mind on me forever dwell, and even at death you shall remember well.
Wow, that really underscores the goal, cultivating an awareness so deep it carries you through life's final transition.
Exactly. It's not just intellectual knowledge, but a constant lived connection, a state of being that permeates everything, right up to the very end.
Who know me in the earthly sphere's domain, Adhiputa, and in the celestial realm, Adhideva, they see, and know me in the sacrifice's main, Adhyajna, performance, linking action unto me. These souls, with minds composed eternally, at the great hour of death, remember well, their consciousness united they will be, aware of me, where truth and spirit dwell. The final moment, crucial and profound, when life transitions to the state beyond. By knowing me through all that can be found, matter, the gods, the ritual bond, They cross with steady mind, their journey done, and reach my presence with the setting sun.
It brings it all together beautifully, doesn't it?
Knowing the divine in all aspects, the physical, the celestial, the sacrificial, or action-based.
Adhyuta, adhyadaiva, adhyajna. Recognizing the divine presence in all these facets of existence. Their mind is steady, composed, united with that reality. And reflecting on all these sonnets, these interpretations of the verses,
Yeah.
it just strikes me again how, well, universal some of these core themes feel. Faith, devotion, finding meaning, the struggle with our own minds, the nature of reality.
They don't feel confined to just one time or place, do they?
Not at all. The language of seeking, of connecting with something greater, of understanding our place in the cosmos,
Yeah.
that feels deeply human. The Gita, through verses like these, seems to tap into questions people have asked everywhere, always. It suggests a kind of wisdom that transcends cultural packaging, potentially offering valuable perspectives to anyone exploring these big questions about life, meaning, and reality, whatever their own background might be. And finally, it really is amazing how poetry can sometimes make these complex philosophical points feel more, immediate, accessible.
I agree. And of course, this is really just scratching the surface.
Oh, absolutely. It's an invitation, really, to maybe explore Chapter 7 of the Gita further on your own, or look for other interpretations. And perhaps just appreciating the power of poetry itself, as a tool for exploring these kinds of questions.
The verses themselves are dense with meaning, and the sonnets offer one way to unpack and contemplate them.
It really does.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of our look, Chapter 7. There's certainly a lot to reflect on there.
Definitely. And if you found this exploration helpful or interesting, we do invite you to subscribe. We'll be continuing to explore profound texts and ideas in future discussions.
Om Tat Sat.